Tonight, and the opposition is now accusing President William Ruto of attempting to weaken the judiciary so as to lay grounds for passing legislation that would see him extend the presidential term limit. Equally, the Law Society of Kenya has urged the president to table evidence of the corrupt judicial officers and desist from making roadside declarations that undermine the independence of the judiciary. And as NTV's Sydney Chazima now reports, the LSK has now planned countrywide protests starting next week, aiming to protect the independence of the judiciary.
It is now evident that the claims made by President William Ruto that there allegedly exists some corrupt elements in the judiciary who are hell-bent on crippling government projects through endless litigation have not gone down well with practitioners of the law and the political class as well. The Law Society of Kenya has already issued a call for mass action to its members starting next week.
The Law Society would be organizing a countrywide peaceful demonstrations where we will read and affirm the oath that each and every one of the advocates of the High Court of Kenya took to protect the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the constitution that we have.
The president was on record claiming that the Kenya Kwanza administration's flagship projects were facing unending litigation, going as far as stating examples of the Housing Levy Fund and the newly introduced Social Health Insurance Fund. According to Ruto, the numerous court cases have sabotage written all over them.
That decisions that have been given by the judiciary have been procured through corruption. Yet he is a beneficiary of a decision that has been made by the judiciary. It basically is an oxymoron. It is something that is not making sense.
But amidst the claims by the president, the political class opines that there is more than what meets the eye. Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni claims that the president has set his sights on a bigger picture that may include amending the constitution to increase or scrap the presidential term limit.
His intention is to demean the judiciaries in the eyes of the public for the reasons that he has something he wants to achieve, which is unconstitutional, and he does not want the judiciary to raise a finger.
I am completely shocked that what I heard my president say yesterday came from him. You know why? Because I campaigned with my president. And everywhere he went, he pledged to obey the courts of law.
Practitioners of the law want the president to follow due process in dealing with the alleged corrupt elements in the judiciary.
If he has evidence that they are rogue judicial officers, and we are not saying that they are not, but we are saying that if he has evidence, then that evidence ought to be presented to the Judicial Service Commission so that it can be processed and dealt with as prescribed under the Constitution.
In his end of the year 2023 speech, President Ruto hit at the opposition, accusing it of forum shopping for favorable judges who would rule against government programs. Kioni didn't object.
We will not keep quiet. And he is not going to intimidate us by saying that we are sabotaging him. Where we think we need to go to court, we will go to court directly or through other people who can be able to meet to help us with the costs, because the costs are also very high.
The president's remarks came on the eve of the hearing of the Housing Levy Fund case at the Court of Appeal. But Githunguri MP Gathoni Wamuchomba not only wants the Housing Levy Fund scrapped, but also the Finance Act of 2023.
We must repeal the Finance Act, and we must repeal the issue of house levy. And if really the president wants to collect money to do his things, to pay his debts, let him come clear and tell us, nataka munisaidie tulipe madeni. Lakini asituambie ni maneno ya nyumba.
If he doesn't want this to happen, let him go through public participation. And when Kenyans say, hii ni mzuri lakini hatuitaki saa hii, wachana naye. Then he'll be able to do the things Kenyans want him to do now and the things they can afford to do now.
With the executive turning the heat on the judiciary, the public has now been urged to furnish the Judicial Service Commission with reports and evidence of corrupt judges and judicial officers, with the JSC promising to take swift and stern action against them. Sydney Chazima, NTV.